This episode of the HoneyDew is brought to you by HelloFresh. More on that later. Let's get into the do.
The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here at Studio Night Pants, doing it with Night Pants Nation. What's up, y'all? I'm Ryan Sickler. Very excited to be here with you this week. RyanSickler.com is the website. Make sure you sign up for my email list there, and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/rsickler. You'll get video there every Tuesday of all the episodes. And now we're including time codes in the list too, so you can go down and see like one of your favorite stories. You can go right to the time code for it, trying to make things easy for everybody. And also, I want to make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Subscribe. I want to hear your stories. We got it rolling now. A few episodes in. It's been a lot of fun. I want to know your story. What's your story? Subscribe. And there's a link at the end of this episode. You can go right to that. Obviously, everything on RyanSickler.com and the HoneyDewPodcast.com. And submit your story to one email only. Everybody just HoneyDewPodcast@gmail.com. That's where you submit your story. We'll go through it and hopefully get you guys on. You can do an episode with us. Make sure you sign up over there, too, for the Facebook fan page, all that stuff. And I have to just thank, I mean, it's ridiculous. You guys are the best fucking fans. The support for Night Pants Nation is ridiculous. They told me that the manufacturer ran out of that pattern in 2 sizes because they were not expecting that big of a sale. So they're all coming, you guys. And you know we record these at different times. So night shorts, I don't know when this one's going to go up, but they're either coming or they're here. So always check honeydewpodcast.com and you'll see all the merch there. RyanSickler.com, all that shit. As I say every week, too, we record here at the Santa Monica Music Center. So if you're looking for lessons, especially online lessons, this is the spot. Go to santamonicamusic.com, use the code HoneyDew, and they'll waive the registration fee, and they'll give you a free lesson when you sign up for a package. As you know, I like to highlight the lowlights, and over here, we like to hear the stories behind the storytellers. And today's guest is no stranger to the do, and it's a pleasure to have him back here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Josh Potter, y'all.
Oh
Good
shit!
to have you back.
4-time HoneyDew champ.
I'm gonna say this again. You're my first video episode ever.
That's crazy.
At YMH, Crab Feast was all audio, but you're my first YMH video and ever. So
what a nice low visual bar to set,
isn't it? I felt like it was up from there.
There you go. Yeah. Everyone else is prettier from there on out.
Dude, thank you for being back. Thank you for coming to the new studio.
Oh, thanks for having me. It looks great.
Thank you, man. Go ahead, plug it up. I know there's no shows. Well,
yeah, I got shows in September and November. They're on my Twitter at J_Potter on Twitter. If they still happen, those are on sale. But in the meantime, you can watch me play fake football on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Josh_Potter. It's how I'm making a living right now. is fake owning the Buffalo Bills. It's a bright future if my reality becomes true. But yeah, that's how I'm doing it. And Cameo also, cameo.com/Josh_Potter. If you want to take part in my adult sex work, that's my life now. That's how I'm making a living, is shoulder hair porn and video games.
Shoulder hair porn.
Yeah. My family's proud. Everyone's so proud of me and what I've become in the quarantine.
Well, that's what we were just talking about before. Like, our grandparents went through a Great Depression, all that, and what they must have been doing during, like, I don't know. In my mind, they're shoveling coal, and who knows what the fuck.
My grandma used to save, like, as PTSD, like when she was old, she would save rubber bands. She'd be like, "You never know," and I'm like, "What do you do with a fucking rubber band?"
Took down 9 Nazis with one of these motherfucking rubber
She'd
bands.
have tissues in her pocket she'd take out and be like, "This is from 97 and still use." You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, I can't even imagine. Now he's looking down on heaven on me and just like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
This is my lineage.
This is my fucking grandson. Sometimes I wish he was still alive so I could see what he would have to not only say about the world, but like what I've done with my life.
You're like, listen, man, you would have never made it back then. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have either.
I wouldn't have.
He was in World War II. He was a firefighter. He was an electrician. And here I am doing shoulder hair porn on camera.
And Tit Cups?
And Tit Cups and fucking...
Wait, say his resume again. And then say yours.
He fixed airplanes in World War II. He's a firefighter, an electrician.
Listen, all shit that can kill you immediately.
And you have to have like a skill set. A vast skill set. This guy's fixing airplanes. He's got wrenches and shit. I'm like, hey, everyone, you know.
Oh,
you want to rub your dick in my shoulder hair? $50. He's just looking down. And dude, there's so many moments I've recently thought about him, like looking down. Like recently I had my room clean. Don't know if you saw that.
I saw it.
And you know, that was hell in itself, obviously. Just going through that and like facing that and knowing that hundreds of thousands of people are going to
hell in a cell.
Well, it could have been. That's a better word for it. I said hell in itself, but Christina and Tom were nice enough to buy me like furniture to put in my room, and I got one of the dressers. And you know, now they expect everyone to.
So nice. It is ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous.
So
I
nice.
can't thank them enough. I mean, they're like, they're turning me into a human being, which is more than my family's ever done for me. So
your grandfather's like, at least thank God for those two.
Well, and then so the fucking dresser comes, right? And it's in a flat box, and they expect everyone to be a goddamn construction worker now. You're a fucking architect, and you got to build I wish the furniture just came, and then you just put it in like the old days.
You can do that. You got to pay extra for it.
I'll pay whatever.
Somebody will put it together.
This
and
case, it was gifted.
Guys like your grandfather,
yeah, exactly,
are putting it together and delivering it.
I opened it up and I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I don't know how to fucking do this shit. So my friend, who's a comic and also an adult film actress, Kate Kennedy, she came over and like basically put my dresser together for me.
She did that for you?
Yeah, because she loves that shit. She's like, didn't you ever play with Legos?
I was about to say, it's adult Legos.
Never fucked with. I mean, when I fucked with Legos, I would put them all in one bin and I'd build what I want. I wouldn't follow the directions. Yeah. So when I see a directions, I shut down. So she built it. I mean, like, and so I'm thinking my grandpa's up there's like, you got to have a fucking woman come over and build your fucking
goddamn woman coming over building your dresser for you, piece of shit.
And I'm like, so I'm sitting there going like, I'm progressive.
You're just over there sitting watching her with titty cups.
I'll be over here doing my cameo. I got a few cameos. I got a couple customs I got to put out there. But yeah, it's fucking... So I'm like,
I haven't been on one firefight. You know what I mean? I haven't been on just one call. You know, he's going on a bunch of them and then going and fucking with shit that could electrocute him immediately.
He's starting fires. He's putting them out. Yeah,
I'm pulling over when they come by. Like, ooh,
oh my god! When I hear a siren, I get scared. I'm like, what's? I hear a siren in the distance. I'm like, ooh, that's scary.
2 generations later, what pussies we are.
Oh my god, dude, it's so wild. I mean, I've had it too, where like back when I drove. I remember like I'd get a flat tire and I'd have to call AAA. And like I remember one time like a real petite like cheerleader girl like was the AAA person. And I was like, do you need help? And she's like, no. You know what I mean? This is what and I felt so weird. And again, I could feel his beaming down on me from heaven, shaking his head at me. His friends are giving him shit like, what a fucking pussy your grandson is. You know, like he's up there like... He was such like a man. It's so weird that I'm like only one generation removed from him. You know, like I remember my grandma, I'm more like my grandma than my grandpa, obviously. She would have like night terrors and like mental health problems. You know, she'd be like in the middle of the night, she used to just start screaming or like yelling. It's like terrifying to hear.
For real?
Yeah, she would just start talking loudly. She'd be like, oh, I was at the store. And then you're like, oh my God. And there would be like times when I'd have to like babysit her because she'd have her surgeries or whatever.
Meanwhile, he's been through wars and fires.
Dude, he does not. I remember one time.
He's sound asleep. He ain't saying shit.
Not affected.
She's worried about the grocery store.
Like, I sew buttons on ice cream. She's yelling.
He's dropping bombs on Nazis and
she'd
shit.
scream, dude. She'd be like, ah, like so loud. And he'd just be like, There was one time I was babysitting her because he doesn't wake up. He doesn't even affect it. So he couldn't like watch her when she had a surgery. She like broke her wrist or something. And I remember she had to like sleep a certain way. So my parents like set up a cot and made me like monitor her at night. And I'd be like laying there dead asleep and she'd be like, ah! And I'd be like, oh, I'd freak out.
That would be terrifying.
Like up like immediately. And then I'd hear my grandpa from the other room go, Rita, shut up. And she would just wake up then and go back to sleep, but he'd be unfazed.
Rita, shut up.
Like it's nothing. Like it's fucking... Like the alarm clock went off or something and he hit the snooze.
Dude's probably seen Hitler in person. And she's fucking screaming in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah, dude. I remember... we went camping one time, and I'm blazing through my list.
Wait, you went with your grandfather?
Well, we all used to go to my Aunt Jean's cottage.
Where
it was
is
like
that?
up in the Allegheny Mountains somewhere. I don't remember exactly where because we didn't go after I was a little kid any longer. But it had a creek and it had like a big cottage and yard and stuff, and the whole family would go, like dozens of us.
Okay, so like aunts, uncles,
cousins, everybody's
all at the
going.
same time.
Yeah. And I lived with my grandparents like my whole life. Like they lived in the upstairs apartment, we lived in the downstairs apartment. So
And he's your dad
were
or
very
mom's
close.
parents?
Mom's parents.
Okay.
And so we're camping, we're going. I'm getting firewood for the fire, and the sun's setting. And there's this like it's like a cylinder sticking out of the ground. It's red and it's got a little like metal top on it. And I'm a kid or whatever. I just go and like jump on it because it's like sitting there. And you know how like you're a kid, you jump on a curb or you jump on something. There was no rhyme or reason why I did it, but I jump on it and I fall in. The thing is like a lid and it tilts like this, and I fall in and it's a well.
You felt like baby Josh.
Like baby
Josh over
yeah.
here. Are you serious?
But I was 8, so like I didn't fall very far, but I fell 10 feet down or something like that.
That's a far fall, friend. It's a basketball rim.
Well, I got wedged in it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the bottom of it, and there was no water. Thankfully, it wasn't
So hold on,
full.
you fell in this thing and you're wedged in and you can see above you?
Yeah,
or
and the thing closed.
Oh, fuck.
And it was like, I'm screaming.
Are you by yourself?
No, thankfully my sister saw me fall into it. So she runs and goes and gets my grandpa, who's like down at the creek or whatever. And I didn't know what it was I fell into, and like there was no water in it, and it got like narrower as it went down, so I got kind of like stuck. And then my grandpa just opens the lid and he's like, "What are you walking on this thing for?" The first thing he says to me is like,
"Are you okay?"
Yeah. It's like, and then he said something. He's like, "I guess the lid wasn't locked." And I'm sitting there like, "Yeah, I don't know what." And he's like, he starts just lowering a rope down, and I just grab it, and he's like, "Well," and I'm like, "Oh, what?" And I thought he was gonna pull me out. He's like, he's like "Start climbing." Yeah, he's like, "Start pulling yourself out."
And I was a microcosm for life right there.
Yeah, and he's helping me.
I'm gonna give you some help, but help your goddamn self.
He's helping me, but he's like, "You got to pull yourself out here a little bit. Can't pull you up 10 feet. I'm a fucking old man."
Oh my god, you fell in a fucking well.
Yeah, dude, it was scary. And then like I got out of it, and I was just kind of like, I was only down there for a few minutes, and I had to wait for my grandpa to go get the rope from his truck. That was probably the longest part.
He probably walked and smoked a cigarette and everything. He's like, "Listen, I've been in a tight spot." He's got a couple hours.
Yeah, he didn't rush. He's like looking for the right rope. I don't want to waste this rope on him right now. What if it gets wet? What if I lose it down there?
Holy shit.
Yeah, he was a fucking man, that's for sure. Just totally removed from... He used to just sit on the porch and whistle.
Like to himself?
Yeah, just whistle. Just like aimlessly. Just stare into the space.
I'm telling you, it's where I'm headed. It's all I want. I don't care about the size of the house. I'd rather have more land than a big house.
Yeah.
I'm fine in a regular size house. I just want to be left the fuck alone.
How many hours you think or minutes even, can you sit on a porch just whistling without looking at your phone?
That's the thing that your grandfather's up there looking at us right now. Like,
God.
Look at these fucking assholes.
I remember he had to get a cell phone at the tail end. I forget what, just to like for whatever reason, and he wouldn't have it on. He would just have it off. And we're like, "What are you carrying it for?"
Because you all told me I have to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he would turn it on to use it and then turn it off when it was over. No incoming. Right. Just outgoing.
Outgoing only.
He'd be like, no, you got to keep it on. And he's like, keep it on for what? It's like, I don't know what this thing's doing to me.
He's probably right about that shit.
Yeah, for sure, dude. But yeah, it was wild, being like thinking about all the race stuff going on too. Like he was definitely racist, but like in an innocent way. Does that make sense? Like I don't know that he was hateful, but he definitely
Ignorant
used words.
hateful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like being in World War II, I mean, Jap this, Jap that. Throwing that around like it's fucking. Hey, what's up? You know what I mean?
I had a friend of mine who worked at a nursery. Landscaping, not babies, nursery, and it would be a different story when you hear it if it was a baby nursery. But he was working with this guy, and he was selling. They had a Japanese maple tree, and the abbreviation on the tag, just for barcodes and shit, said Jap maple. And he's like, well, we have these Jap maples here. The guy goes, hey, man, Jesus Christ. Okay, this isn't your grandfather's country. And he was like, dude, I'm just reading what the fucking thing says. I didn't
realize it was short for Japanese. Whoops.
The guy got so mad at him. He's like, I'm just reading the abbreviated thing on the tag here for you.
Yeah, man, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he was a fucking... man, dude. And now I'm playing video games every day and putting Tit Cups on fucking for hundreds of thousands of people. I wonder what he thinks. So I wish I could, figure that out,
If there's people up there,
they're
like, you got to come see what your grandson's doing now.
He's got those Tit Cups on again. Again. How old's he now? 34? He's 34? What'd you do at 34? And he's like, I had 4 kids. I built a fucking shed. Yeah. Fought in a war.
I fought fires.
34 he's doing.
Put Tit Cups on.
Yeah, but he's got kids now, right? Nope.
No,
he is
he
barely.
Does not.
He's still
he can't even come. How's he gonna have kids?
He can't even come. Oh my God, he's so embarrassed.
You gotta come to have kids.
Could you imagine if he knew? Telling me my grandkid can't even ejaculate in a woman?
No, can't ejaculate at all. That's right.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Oh man, that is fucking classic, dude.
Yeah, Jesus man. Christ. The Tit Cup thing is. Yeah,
you texted me the other day. You got recognized.
I did. Yeah, I was walking down the street, and I usually have my headphones in. In this case, I didn't, and I hear from the distance in a car as it's like driving by, I go, Tit Cups!
As it's
Tit Cups! I'm like, yeah. Do a little wave.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Your grandmother.
Oh, yeah?
Now he's getting recognized by people for it. Strangers.
Well, my parents are still alive. I wonder if they're getting any reaction. No. My mom has no idea what I do. She has no
She doesn't even bother checking in.
It's not that she doesn't check in. She doesn't understand it.
Listen,
so
I'm not judging.
No.
It's probably best.
No,
yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I'm not going to educate her on how to watch it or anything. But she doesn't. She thinks I'm still doing radio still. She thinks it's radio still, She's like, which channel is it on? I'm like, it's on the internet. She's like, but it's radio. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't know how to find it or anything like that. But I'd imagine, what if people went up to her and was like, your son's Tit Cups, right? She's like, what?
What?
Yeah. I can't. I kind of hope that happens, actually.
Well, I remember because we did the episode of YMH. You were on before me, and I was out in the lobby watching you with the Tit Cups on again.
Yeah. So, yeah. Putting them back on. Higher grade Tit Cups.
Tit Cup. Let's take a break and tell you about our sponsor, HelloFresh. I had a chance to try HelloFresh. It is hands down my favorite meal kit delivery service. You can get fresh, pre-measured ingredients, mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door with HelloFresh. They are America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh lets you skip those trips to the grocery store, and it makes home cooking fun, easy, and affordable. Their recipes are so delicious. They offer So many recipes to choose from each week to help you break out of your recipe rut. There's something for everyone, including low-calorie, vegetarian, and family-friendly recipes every week. They're flexible. They fit your lifestyle. You can keep your fridge stocked by adding extra proteins or sides like garlic bread to your weekly order. You can easily change your delivery days or your food preferences and skip a week whenever you need. So feeding the whole family is super easy with larger box sizes for more servings and more savings. You save time and stress effortlessly. HelloFresh offers contactless delivery to your doorstep for easy home cooking with the family. You're going to love it. I was cooking with my daughter. She's almost 6. We're sitting there putting these meals together. The family-friendly one is honestly for picky eaters. That's the way it was explained. So I got the meat one now, and she's sitting there cooking with me, helping me out, prepping everything. I'm going to try the family one next time so she can, have a little more options as well. So go to HelloFresh.com/honeydew80 and use code honeydew80 to get a total of $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. That's HelloFresh.com/honeydew80 and use that code honeydew80 to get a total of $80 off, free shipping, and your first box. Additional restrictions apply. Please visit HelloFresh.com for more details. Now let's get back to the show.
I've been doing that shit forever, though. I got into that trap in radio, I found, where I was
You don't mean
I had
Tit
to pump
Cups,
the
you
brakes.
just mean
well, just in general.
stunts.
Yeah. I mean, I did. The first thing that got me on the radio was getting shot with a taser.
What do you
and
mean?
Then I had a police officer just shoot me with a taser in the studio. Because at first he was going to just give everyone a little stun gun. And we were like, but he's like, but if you want, I could shoot it into the back of someone with the prongs and everything. Do the full ride the 5 of lightning. And none of them wanted to do it.
Is that
obviously.
it? Is it 5
seconds? Yeah, just
And how did he? Were you standing when he did it?
Yeah, so like,
Can I just tell you real quick? My cousin's at this point he's retired. He's been a retired cop forever. Long story short, day one when he finally out of training and shit, he's riding with his partner, and some high speed chase happens. So they get involved. They hit a median and they roll. And he has to get his leg breaks. He's got to get pins and all this shit put in it. And they give him an office job for a couple years. And they're like, and by the way, now you can retire with full benefits. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Damn. This motherfucker was a cop.
One day.
He was on the force for a day,
Jesus.
officially. But then worked for, but he couldn't. But he's a liability on the street.
For sure,
he's got, he can't run after people and shit. So anyway, he told me that when they went through training, they used to tase guys standing up, but they would freeze up and they'd fall and break their jaw or their nose. So they started making them get on their knees.
Yeah.
So the fall was shorter. And that's why I wanted to know.
Well, the way that they did it for me, first of all, none of the show hosts or anyone on the show wanted to do it.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm sitting there as an intern and I was like, I'll fucking do it. And
you volunteered? You didn't get volunteered?
Nope. I wanted to get on the air and I was young. And so they're like, all right. So they had it so 2 people held my arms and then slowly lowered me to the ground. And that's the other thing that blew me away. It doesn't conduct through someone else. Yeah, when they touch you.
Yeah, because we used to, when we were kids, I'm sorry I keep interrupting.
No, that's okay.
But this is what trips me out. When we were kids, we used to have this farm that was not far away and it had an electric fence. And if you grab that mother, have you ever touched one?
Right. And then if they grab you,
as long as you grab somebody else, it conducts right through you.
Right.
So I wonder why. What is it?
I don't know.
have no idea.
It's
what's
just
different
through those
about.
prongs.
I'm not a scientist.
Maybe it's less. I don't know. But it's these fucking needles are like little harpoons that they just go into your back.
So what do you feel? Is that painful too?
Oh yeah. And then they take them out. And they have to be like, because it's like a hook, because they leave that shit so you can't run away. You know what I mean?
It's in you.
And they can keep it going too. That's what they said to me while it was in me. They're like, "You want to do another one?" I'm like, "No." And I like took them out of me finally. But
what's that feel like? Do you just?
It felt like I got struck by lightning. But the thing that got me on the radio was I didn't swear, because if I would have cursed, they would have had to dump out of it. It would have gone away forever. And so I didn't swear. They thought I was a pro. So then,
pro.
It's like, what is he going to do next kind of thing.
Grandfather would have been proud of that, though. I got.
He was alive during that part.
Oh,
and I remember he started hearing that I was on the radio and he used to brag about it or something. Someone told me that. That was nice to hear. But I don't know that he exactly heard what I was doing, because I was also then like wearing dresses and going. I went trick or treat.
For the radio.
Dude, I was wearing I wore a schoolgirl outfit and went trick-or-treating at pedophiles' houses. And like, I swear.
That's a stunt they had you do?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's on the internet somewhere. And then
that's great.
We did, this was a contest I helped come up with called Nude with a Dude. And it worked the first time. I know you had Tommy Lee in here. It was for Motley Crue tickets. And we had,
all right.
Yeah, we had two guys that we said, whoever can last in this sleeping bag the longest, two guys together naked, whoever could last the longest gets the tickets. So we'd have them rotate and stuff. We'd do little bits like come in every 15 minutes and put porn in front of them. So, you know, then it'd be like, all right, you got to go back to front. Now you got to go front to front.
Nuh-uh.
It would make them rotate like that.
In a sleeping bag?
In a sleeping bag.
Two strangers.
Yeah.
That's fun. Listen, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
What would you? Because I would never do that for Motley Crue for any fucking tickets. What would it take you? It would have to be a substantial amount of money for me.
It's not. Unfortunately for me, it took my salary and my job. Listen, because the contest was such a hit that we did it again, and only one person showed up. So they were like, yo, we need an 8 o'clock here.
No.
So they're like, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm taking the bullet. Cause it was like, you know,
taking
it was on
bullet,
me,
bro.
It was on me to have the segment full. And if that contest didn't go off, that's an empty slot. So I was like, I'll go. The guy,
what was
I told
the
guy
second one for
probably another concert,
some
Metallica maybe or something. And, I told the guy, I'm like,
wait, hold on. Let's go back for a second. So how long did they last before somebody won?
The first time, it was awesome. It went like, it got to the point where it was like the end of the show. And the guy,
how long was that? Like 2-3 hours?
Well, we started it around like a little before 8. The show's 4 hours. And so it went till 10 and it was getting to the end of the show. And, we're like, when do you guys got to step it up here? And so the one guy just started beating off.
No.
And that's how he got the other guy to go, all right.
That's right. Now that's crossing the line.
Because he was like, they were like eye to eye, and he's like in this sleeping bag. So, and I was like, touche, good. You should have did that probably an hour ago, you know? But I'm glad you waited.
Right away.
I'm glad you waited so we could have that TSL, baby, time spent listening. So when it comes up again and we only have one person show up, I go, I got to take the fucking bullet. I told the guy, I'm like, you're going to win. Just get me past the 8:30 break. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll get out. I'll give up or whatever. So I had to do Nude with a Dude. I didn't get any new money. I was getting paid dog shit, like minimum wage. Basically.
Are you still an intern at this point or have you been hired?
Oh, no, I'm
now?
hired, but I'm getting paid nothing. Like, I got paid nothing throughout my entire... I did a lot of things for no money for radio. And now it's... you know, here I am bringing that expertise to the couch of your mom's house and putting tit cups on my body. That's child's play compared to what I did in the radio game. But I was a young buck back then, you know. Now
so
I'm
what
an old
happens?
man.
You get in this thing with this dude. What's he
we
look
just
like?
do it. He looked like a he looks kind of like I look now. Actually, he's got like long squirrely hair. He looked like the sidekick in. Remember in Ninja Turtles, the one dude who was like, he had like that flat brim hat. He looked kind of like the Undertaker. I don't know why he's coming to mind, but he was real mousy and like real like, hey man, you know, that kind of guy. And he wasn't like,
wasn't like 6'5", 300 pounds.
No, it wasn't crazy. We both fit in there pretty snug. And, you know, we did the whole like, you know.
How long were you in there for the 8:30
Probably
break?
45 minutes.
You were in there for 45 minutes.
And it's something. I got to tell you, like, I remember the one host of the show, Shred, was like, you know, we're in a commercial break at this point, and now I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to get out of the sleeping bag, so if you want to turn around or whatever, I'm going to put my pants on. It's just a weird, like, walk of shame to put your pants back on in the radio studio.
After
and then, like,
getting out of a sleeping bag.
Yeah, and then you go do your work.
Naked with a dude.
Yeah,
now
then
you're
you
just
go
over there emailing.
Then you get your clipboard out. You're like, all right, well, we got an interview
our next segment.
Yeah, we got an interview at 10:45. You want me to get you the prep? You know, like... You have to go right back into work mode after that. See man, Cheryl in the office. How are you?
It's funny because I
dude.
interned at radio in college, and I was the total opposite of you. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They would give me shit I interned for this station. It was at the time it was 100 GRX. It was classic rock, and then it went to 100X right when I got there, and that's when it went to the 90s, like Bush and Candlebox and that kind of rock. And at the time, Nirvana, all that, and they were big. All right, we're going to this Candlebox concert tonight.
Candlebox.
You have to hand out there's a picture of me somewhere with the band of Candlebox out there. It exists somewhere on social media.
Left me far behind.
And they were like, you got to give these bumper stickers out and shit. And then you have the credentials, come in through the back. You can watch the show or whatever. And I would go, okay. And then they would leave, and I'd wait 5 minutes. I'd go over to a dumpster. I'd throw every bumper sticker right in the fucking dumpster, and then I would come through the front door and stay on. And then I'd eventually be like, you got rid of them? I'm like, yep, I got rid of them.
I used to, out of just pure love of the game, used to go to competing radio station events and put bumper stickers, not the sticker on the car, but I'd put them in the windshield of like every car in the parking lot.
That's good.
Of them,
yeah.
but just like to be that kid or whatever and be like, see, I love it here. You're going to give me a real job someday, right? And then they're like, no, we're going to keep taking advantage of you.
While you keep doing this shit.
Yeah, exactly. So, and plus I was, like I said, I was a young kid, so I was hungry or whatever.
Well, they asked me to get into, this is where it ended for me. This is how crazy it got. And I was like, I ain't doing that. So at the end of the year, they again switched to a froggy country. There were these froggy FM country stations around the U.S.
Yeah, it's like a thing they kept copying over and over again.
Yeah, and I had already gotten my credits that I needed and everything, so I was just done.
Yeah.
And I'm just about, and they're like, hey, so we've got this event today. You're going to be, and it's like summer. It's hot as fuck.
Yeah.
You're going to be, we need you to dress up in this froggy costume. And I was like, nope. They're like, what do you mean no? I was like, I'm done. My internship's done. This is free. I got my credits. It's a wrap. Like, no, you can't. I go, oh yeah, I can. And I just hung up. Yeah. Fucking, I wasn't getting into froggy fucking suit.
It's weird where I drew the line on stuff like that. I wouldn't get into suits like that, but I would be like, let's do the sleeping bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck the mascot suit.
We used to have like listeners
by myself.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least I'm seen on the one. You know what I mean? Like that's where I would draw the line. I swam with a snapping turtle.
Did it bite you?
Shit. It did a little bit.
Dude, those things can like.
I know, it could have taken my fucking arm off.
Yeah, easily.
And I didn't know that. We didn't know enough about snapping turtles until after. We like.
Dude, that's a dinosaur.
I remember we were like. I was like on the way home, and a guy calls me from the office. He's like, doing a little Googling here on snapping turtles.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, you're lucky you got out of it. He goes, if it would have latched onto you and we would have chopped its head off, it still would have been latched onto you. He's like, they like stay on you. He's like, I don't know how we would have gotten it off. We would have had to like take you to somewhere to like get it off of you. Because it's like, if it clamps on and you chop its head off, it does not stop
clamping. The clamp stays, the jaw just
I think it
stays.
Like lasts like 10 years or something. I don't know.
Holy
but it's like
shit.
Prehistoric.
Yeah, they're monsters. You can ride some of those things, get huge.
Dude, this thing was the size of a garbage can lid.
Yes.
Like his shell.
Yep.
And it fucking...
Like two-hand hold. You have to hold it like this. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it just didn't...
It bit you where?
It didn't get me. Like, it just was like... It got near me, and I was like, that was enough. And it, like, scraped me.
Where were you? Were you in a pond?
It was in the guy's pond that he told us he had him. So, like, we just went there. And I told the guy he had a gun. I told the guy, no matter what happens, fire that gun. It'll sound awesome on the radio. Even if the turtle doesn't come near me. Just pretend, you know? So when I go, holy shit, it almost bit me. He starts firing the gun. Like, I was like, I didn't realize it was that close to me. And so I'm on the air and I'm like, oh shit, it just like almost got me there. And the guy just goes, goosh. And they're like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, they're back. And they hear gunfire. They're like, what the? And I knew it would sound cool. But they were like, and then they just hung, like the guy just like put me on hold. Like the one, Reagan, like just put me on hold. He was like, they're shooting guns. I'm not going to keep them on the air. So like, it was an interesting moment, but yeah, I did all kinds of dumb shit like that. And here we are today using it to my advantage for the plenty of people. I'm going to put my dick in a dick cage next.
You're going to do that?
Well, Christina bought it. So I think I have to.
We were talking about it on that episode. And I was like, God, what is the whole point is to punish you so that you don't get erect. But if you do,
Well, it's like you put your soft dick in it, and then it tortures you by like. Then if they do things to you. I think this is what happens in the BDSM world. It's so that if you get an erection, obviously it hurts because it's in a fucking cage.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to not get one despite what they're doing to you. So I think that's the game that's going to be played. Is I'm going to put it on, and then they're going to get a woman to see if she can turn me on. But I don't think I'll be able to. I don't think I'll be able to get hard with all those eyes on me. You know what I mean? With Tom and Christina there, I don't think I'll be able to get hard regardless of what she could be like blowing me, and I don't think I'll be able to get hard. You know what I mean?
I can't. God damn. You should have a split screen of your grandfather and have him looking down on you doing that in the video.
Worse.
Like, Jesus Christ.
You're only getting older, kid.
You gotta see this shit.
So I don't know. Tom has a secret weapon, lady-wise, that he says he's going to bring in. And we'll see.
A secret weapon.
Yeah.
Huh?
But
I can't wait to see this shit.
I'm glad it doesn't have, because I noticed some mods of these cages have like a thing that goes in your urethra.
No. Oh, God. I just closed my leg.
I prayed. I like asked Christine, I'm like, it's not the one with the urethra thing, right? And she's like, I don't know. And then I like went and looked. Thank God it's not.
I mean, would you have done it if it was?
I don't think so. I don't think I could have handled that.
Nothing's going up my dick hole.
No, I think I told that on this podcast before, but I had a thing in my urethra, a scope for, I thought I had a blockage or something as a little kid, and they put a scope up there, camera, and it fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Like a lot. I still remember it vividly, and I was like 5.
I worked with a girl one time when I was writing back in the day. And it's so funny because another one of my friends, recently we got together, a friend of ours passed from cancer, and we all got together to hang out and see one another and celebrate him. And she said, we still are in communication, but she's like, I'll never forget that one time so-and-so told you about that dude. And this guy that this girl was dating was into it. Oh, it's hard to even say, but he would have her grow the pinky coke nail.
Oh, yeah.
And then dig it in his urethra. Put it up his fucking dick hole and then carve it. And while she's sitting there, I'm just going, oh my God. And she's like, I just remember how upset that made you. I'm like, it's upsetting me that you're bringing it up right now. Like, why are you?
Ooh, that's rough.
I mean, hey, man, there's people into whatever. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that one's, I can't.
That might be a good idea, by the way, to do before the dick cage experiment is for me to do coke before, because then I definitely won't get hard.
Oh, there you go. Do a bunch of blow. Why'd you die on the goddamn show?
No, all I need is a few bumps and my dick will be like, peace out, bro. My dick is like, a couple bumps in, my dick's like, well, I'm retired forever. I feel like my dick, I mean, I don't know. Have you ever done coke?
Your grandfather's like, I used to do coke before I flew planes, for Christ.
I still get hard every time. Yeah.
No.
You've never done coke, eh?
No, I'm not. I've done a few drugs. I've talked about it. It's not. I've done shrooms a couple times. I've never fucked with acid. I've never fucked with coke. I've never fucked with, as I pour my water. Yeah,
coke isn't a thing that I like. I always say like I don't do coke, but I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like if it's around. So I've never like been. It's not like a penchant of mine because I don't like upper things. But
right, that's exactly me. I'm weed.
But I like. When girls have coke and they want to do it, I'm like, I know where this is going. So
I mean, wherever it goes or not, I've dated tons of girls that do cocaine and have done cocaine in front, whatever.
But the unfortunate part as I've gotten older is I've noticed that when you do it, even minutely, my fucking dick is just, it couldn't be in a worse state.
Well, then you're totally convincing me not to ever do
No, of
cocaine.
Course. That's what I said. I'm like, if you would have gone to my high school in DARE program or whatever, anti-drug stuff, if you would have just said to me like, you do coke, your dick's gonna look like the saddest thing you've ever seen. It's gonna crawl up in your body. It's gonna
crawl up in your body.
You want to embarrass yourself in front of a woman, do coke and then show her your fucking dick. That's what they should tell you in DARE to keep you off of it.
You think this guy here in this Tit Cups or something?
Yeah.
Do cocaine.
Yeah,
dude, I remember we had I've told this before a long time ago, but we had a DARE officer come in, and they passed around this little tray, this box with like what drugs look like in it, and it fucking went back up and it had an extra joint on it. So I threw one on it. Went back.
That's hilarious.
That's always my favorite. That motherfucking cop got one back like, hey, man.
Hey, this isn't an amnesty box. I always wondered if those things were real when they brought him in.
Well, they weren't the ones we got.
Yeah.
We had a guy, I'll never forget this, Maryland State Trooper told this story about, I mean, I wonder if it was true because he looked fine, but he told the story about how he was hit by a drunk driver and he was so close to death that they told him, look, we can't put you under or you won't make it. And we have to perform surgery with no anesthesia. This is what he told us. And it was like peeling his face, like brutal shit. You know what I mean? And we're like, Jesus Christ. This is the stuff they're coming in. They used to take a car from, I mean, they would say it was a drunk driving accident. You don't know if it really was. But any car that had been mangled. Yeah. And they would just throw it right on the front of the high school lawn. And they would say, this is what happens when you drink and drive, you know, try to scare kids.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, kids are riding by throwing beer bottles at her. You know, kids are fucking stupid, you know, just stupid.
That's crazy. Yeah, we never had anything like that. It was in the 90s, it was a little more sensitive, I think. You know, we didn't watch like Red Concrete or whatever that video was where they'd show that video of just like brutal car accidents, drunk driving car accidents. None of that kind of shit. My mom used to tell us when we were little kids really fucked up stories though about trying to like scare us straight almost. But she would get like, I feel like my mom got off on talking about morbid shit, you know, because I remember like her just telling us a story like, oh yeah, Karen and her husband were riding along the road and a deer came out and just jumped who first through the windshield, and then it got scared, so it started flailing and it smashed both their heads in. And they died. And my mom, and we're like 6. We're like, wow, that's fucking crazy. And my mom's just like nonchalantly telling this story to us, like at the dinner table. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it just painted this vivid image in my brain that I've never just been able to shake. Just like, imagine like everyone's kind of like, you're in a car accident with a deer jumping through the windshield. And then like, you kind of come to, and then the deer comes to, and it's like, and then you just get your fucking head bashed in. That's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Your arm would have been ripped off by a snapping turtle, though.
Right? That's true. Again, we didn't know.
What other shit did you do? Do you remember any other? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, now if I have to, here's how badly I don't want to do that. But if I have a choice between nude with a dude or snapping turtle, I'm definitely getting in a sleeping bag.
No, the snapping turtle is probably the most dangerous.
You might as well get in the water with a fucking crocodile.
We did not know the level of which we thought, you know, it'd hurt if it bit me like a fucking turtle, you know, like, but the further reading that we did, once the bit was underway,
further reading,
there was,
no one did any research.
We did it. We just went into it. And I remember riding out there and having the radio on and hearing them go like, it says here that they can really clamp on for a long time. And I'm like, are they?
It looks like a decade.
I'm like riding out there. I'm like, is this part of the bit? You know, like I'm asking them, like, do you think that's true? And then, we came back and we're like, that could have been bad. There was some, listeners. Eventually I tried to like point the contest I would come up with to the listener, because we would have listeners do a bunch of dumb shit.
Like, what kind of legal shit are you having them sign?
Well, this is what's amazing about it. Before a certain point, remember there was a contest in Seattle where a woman died because she like was drinking too much water?
No.
Well, it was a contest that we used to do also. You know, these contests and shit, they get recycled and they're not exactly, you know, brain surgery. So, you know, you kind of retread some things. We used to do one called Don't Break the Seal, where it would be like we'd get a coffee sponsor to bring in a bunch of coffee. People would drink it, and the first person to pee is out. So the last person wins. The Seattle station did a contest called Wii for Wii. And it was like when the Wii gaming system first came out. And the last person who didn't take a piss after drinking water would win it. And this woman got water poisoning and died.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So she just held it so long?
Happened. Yeah. And drank so much. She was so super hydrated that apparently you can drink too much water and die. Yeah. So she died. That put an end nationwide to any listener contest, because we would have them come in and sign this shitty little waiver, but they could have, if they died, that waiver doesn't mean shit. We had one time, this one was for Metallica tickets. we used to do lick it for tickets was like a common thing. We'd have people lick toilets. We'd have people lick urinal cakes. We put this really ridiculous hot sauce on a plate and like spread it out on a plate, and everyone had to clean their plate. And after we had them eat lick doorknobs, toilets. Could you imagine in fucking coronavirus days?
Yeah, right.
But like we had them lick all this stuff, and then
toilet,
and then the hot sauce though was the thing that they did it, and these people like were like call 911. So we had to call like ambulances and shit, and all of a sudden the news shows up and they're
multiple ambulances. Your grandfather's rolling up. Like what the fuck are you doing?
But it was great. I mean, like I was scared we were all gonna get fired, but then it was great because then it got us on the news and shit, and like there's our hosts like in the lobby going like, yeah, you know, we had a contest go a little awry, you know, that kind of thing. I remember the scariest one though, that didn't come off as scary on the air, it just was scary for me, was we had guys do like almost like a polar plunge. It was, you know, the middle of winter, and it was like you have to swim to this and back in some part of the river. And I go like, it's just me out there with these guys. And so I'm thinking like all of a sudden I see the guy like struggling when he's at the halfway point, and he's like, I don't know if I can make it back. And I'm like, you gotta. I go, because I can't come out there and save you, and I'm the only one here.
You got it.
Yeah, and he just was like, and I remember him getting out of the water and me going like, and I took him back. It was for like Bills versus Vikings tickets in like 2006, you know, when the Bills were dog shit. Like this guy probably could have gotten like hypothermia or died or whatever. And I'm thinking like, good God, man, like, I can't believe I skated out of that one. You know, who knows what could have happened if that guy just drowned out there.
The shit people will do for like when you really break it down, if you can step outside for a second, go, all right, if I were to die, what's a weed cost? Is my life $300?
Yeah, exactly.
Is my life worth? What are the tickets you're giving away?
It was another time though, because it's
fucking deck shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
I mean, this wasn't backstage
right.
passes.
You ain't meeting the bills.
You're getting fucking comp tickets, bro.
These are just for the tailgate.
Yeah. It's what I don't think that should exist anymore, though. I mean, I think if radio tried to do shit like that, I mean, you can probably barely get people to call into a
What's radio?
Station. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like,
I love that the conversation is switching. It used to be, what's podcast, like a radio show?
Nah, me too. Dude.
I'm like, what's radio?
Yeah,
yeah.
I fucking love it. I mean, I still have friends in the business, and I know a lot of them, you know, through this whole coronavirus thing, a lot of them furloughed, lost their jobs, and because radio's always looking for an excuse to fucking cut down. And it's nice to work in the same type of medium, kind of, and have it be expanding as opposed to constantly reducing, because that's what would happen to me. I'd get a new job or a new job title heaped on me, and I would never get a raise, and they would just take the money from that job and keep it for the corporation, you know? And eventually I stopped even just trying. It was just, I would show up when I want, I would leave when I want. It got bad. And so thankfully I got to move out here because it was coming to an end, whether they were going to fire me or
you were going to die.
Or I was just going to kill myself. Yeah. So I wasn't doing that bullshit by the end either because it wasn't worth it, you know? I thought it would lead to glory and, you know, a show and stuff, and that window was closed. You know, they weren't going to make a new morning show with me ever, you know? So, yeah. Here I am, baby.
Why don't you do your own podcast? Why don't
I will be.
I was going to say, you're happening. So in the fucking... I mean, even going back to radio days, you're so embedded in it.
No, for sure.
You know.
And I've done...
You are going to be doing one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great news.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that or what, but I think it was just a matter of figuring out what that's going to be, so...
Can you talk about it or not yet?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I can just say that it's in the works, you know? So... I don't know what it's going to be quite yet either. But.
I can't wait to see what your grandfather thinks of it. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
I can't imagine. I mean, there's nothing else, I guess. I mean, when I wake up every morning and I take off my shirt to do my shoulder hair porn for a few people, I mean, and God bless you for booking the cameos. You're saving my bacon out there. But it is a little piece of me dies inside.
Yeah.
Each and every one.
Well,
that goes.
You mentioned... Tom and Christina having your place cleaned, and it fucked with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Why? How? What happened?
I mean, it didn't fuck with me in terms of like, I'm glad I got it done and I made that step because it was bad and it was like a prison that I put myself in, and I just couldn't get over it. And
telling us so, bro.
Yeah, it was, dog. And so once it was cleaned, I felt relief in that. But then, you know, showing it to people and like knowing like
showing the video of it being cleaned.
Well, just showing how bad it got to people was embarrassing.
Did you have people come over though?
No, never.
Never. You never had visitors?
Never once. I mean, not during that time.
Right.
When it was bad. I had it prior. I mean, because I've even some girls like that have been in my place like hit me up and they're like, "Man, it got bad, huh?" Because they had been in there before, and it was normal. And I was like, "Yeah, you know," and just it was weird, like, you know, having, because there were some people that reached out and were like super nice about it, but then there were some people who I definitely could tell it turned like I no longer have any sort of authority with them. You know what I mean? Because it's like if I say anything, try to make a statement on anything, it's like, well, what the fuck do you know? Look at how shitty your life is. You know what I'm saying? So there was like that element of it that kind of fucked with me a little bit. But, you know, the outpouring of positivity has been greater. So, you know, there's that. But, you know, you see one comment, you're like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
the
like,
guy that's got 9 followers and shit.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And then, like, you know, through
but
coronavirus.
The slew of positivity.
I was doing so good at ignoring all that shit. But coronavirus, like, makes you just bored and you're just looking at Twitter constantly. And
I'll just read one more.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just read one more. I shouldn't have read one
brutal.
more.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have read that.
Why'd I read
that
it?
one's going to fuck with
no,
me for 3 months.
it's like gambling and you're just down.
Yeah,
and you're like, I got to put in another bet. Try and get back up.
I don't know how you feel. Like, I try once a year. I'm not saying you're not or anything. I'm just telling you the type of person I am. I'm super clean. Annie and Ash will tell you I like shit clean, organized. Like, I'm a bit OCD with that kind of stuff. But I also once a year I'll try to go through shit in my place and just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, if I haven't used it, don't need it, I'm like, it's whatever. Right. It's gone, you know?
No, that's proactive. That's the thing I'm learning that I have to deal with.
The reason that it's good, and I really believe this and I've seen it happen, is because once you physically and literally move shit out of your space, you now open up space for new things to come in. You want those to be obviously positive and good things, but
of course
you got to get rid of some shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about suits and stuff that you might wear once or 2 times a year, of course, but I mean, you know, I've had a tent in my fucking storage. It's moved with me since 1997. I just gave it to a friend of mine so she and her daughter can fucking have it. I'm like, you might want to air it out, but it's money.
I've never had a problem.
What am I gonna do with it?
Every time I've moved, I've shed. So when I moved here, I came here with 2 suitcases. That's it. And now I've got some furniture and stuff like that. But I was never messy in like my kitchen's clean, my fucking living room's clean, like, because I share those with a roommate. So it's like I'm never messy in public areas.
Yeah.
It's just when I would like go into my own shit, it would be like that's where I would just like let it go, you know. And it's just weird how it accumulated. And I didn't even notice it until it was like really bad. And then I was like talking to Dr. Drew about it. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm like a hoarder maybe. I don't know. Am I? I'm like, I'm not like, I don't have things, but I definitely like am too depressed to clean my room, you know? So yeah, it was a relief. And now I just have a person come over every other week and clean it. It's once I could get through that first step, it's easy now. You know what I'm saying? Like to maintain.
Yeah. It's easy to stay on top of shit. And then once it gets a little too far out, boom. I do it like once a month, maybe actually even a little longer. For
a woman to come do it, or a man?
Someone.
I don't know why. No,
it is a lady that comes and cleans my place. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I hired somebody. I'm like every other week, you know, it's a couple bucks, and it just gets out, it keeps it out of my brain. You know what I mean? So I figure that's how I'll just keep. Like
there's little scuff marks on the doors coming in from people moving shit in and stuff, and I see it, and I'm like, I gotta paint over that. And I'm like, why? Yeah, I'm trying to let it go. Like, why? That shit's not on camera.
That's the beauty of me being blind is missing those things. I really don't see those things. I said that to Drew. I'm like, you know what happens when I see the mess? I go, where? I don't have it anymore.
What fucking mess?
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't smell it, it ain't a problem.
That's like I've never seen. like a spider in the shower or anything like that. And I always hear stories about that, like, oh my God, a spider in the shower and stuff. And I'm just like, I'm blessed with the taking off my eyes every day when I go in the shower. So I never see any of that. I never see I remember I went to meet a girl at like a hotel and there was a roach in it. And she was like so freaked out. I was like, I would have never seen that fucking roach if you didn't point it out.
You told me about RPCs.
Oh yeah, I went in
there.
there.
Didn't see any of those until the fans were pointing it out.
Until the HD camera. I'm like, oh man, there were just bugs crawling around the whole time. Weird. Didn't pick up on that. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad.
So did they ever? Well, I was going to ask you if they ever replaced you at the radio station with another,
They did
you,
a little bit,
but then the shit started to go away because all the people started fucking up so much.
They did give somebody my gig, but I don't know how much of the same stuff he's doing or whatever. I mean, by the end, I was doing a lot of different kind of things, so I don't know what they gave him or whatever. I'm sure they didn't even pay him as much as they were paying me, They love to fuck everyone over. So my buddy today, he's been at the same station, running the same station for 15 years in Des Moines, and he just got let go like in 3 sentences in an email. It's crazy. Just fucking heartless.
After 15 years.
After putting his heart and soul into this fucking place for 15 years.
It's one of the things I dislike the least about our business is morning radio. I know it used to be huge, and I mean, but getting up at fucking 4:30 or 5 o'clock to go talk to some people that do that shit regularly and try to be funny and energetic and all that, and they're always in a small little closet in some weird office building, and you're walking the hallways, and there's 9 other stations going on in there at the same fucking time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being on the other side of that and then doing comedy, and I remember when Tom came in and did our show, twice he did it.
That's how you met the first time?
I met Tom doing a weekend with him at Helium, but then, every time I'd work a weekend, the headliner would wake up the next day, come do morning radio, be all tired. I'd have been there for 3 hours already. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You want any coffee? They're like, what are you doing here? So yeah, he did come in, and there's if you go to the bottom of my Instagram to 2013 or something, I used to take a picture of every comic that would come in and post it or whatever. And there's a picture of Tom just standing there. You could tell he does not want to be there.
Nobody did.
Yeah. And I used to our show was great because we understood that and we try to make, everyone comfortable or whatever. But, now I go in and do morning radio, and it's the opposite. I'm I can't fucking wait to see what hacks are up in this piece.
Yeah, I bet for you. Yeah. It's for me, exciting. I'm so I once heard, I want to say it was Doug Benson, I might have that wrong, but who asked his audience one night, how many people were here because you heard me on the radio? And no one raised their hands. And he was like, well, fuck it then. We're done with that. Yeah. What are we doing that for? And I won't say the venue, but I did a show not too long ago. And I asked the same question. And it was one lady who brought her husband. And I was like, what are we doing? Yeah. We're getting up at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. We're all spending our time and effort to get 2 people.
Some of depends on the show too. They'll put you on a show that doesn't even make sense. It's the people that are listening to this don't want to hear what I have to say. You know what I mean? So some of them do make sense. We were a comedy show. It made sense to have the comics
a Kevin and Bean.
But even exactly.
Course,
that's exactly
Big
what
Boy.
That's exactly what Shred and Reagan was. And so I think you've done it actually. And, they would take it by phone, too, if the guys didn't want to get up and come
I think I did
in.
When I was doing my album. I might have done a phoner for them. Yeah, well, I totally did. Yeah, because we talked about you. Yeah, of course.
So, we would recognize that. And plus, I was a comic also, so I knew these people.
But here's the thing. I'm down to do a phoner.
Sure.
At my, whenever I can, then play it whenever the fuck you want. Play it at 5:30.
That's what we would do. We would tape them. We would tape a bunch of phoner. That's eventually what it ended up becoming, and that got boring, to be honest. To just, you tape interviews in the afternoon, and then the next day you're just showing up to run a tape. You know what I mean? And then you're just sitting there while it plays. So it's just a weird. I loved doing it so much when I first started, and then it just jaded me like you wouldn't believe, dude. And it dug me into the ground, and I was I thought I was done. I'm 31 years old at this point, and it's not like things are getting better. They're only getting worse. And then thankfully I got to come out here and do this. So right at that moment, it was like a parachute, opening up finally. So
that's the thing I love about comedy too is, after all these years, I'm still not jaded by, a little bit, of course, but not jaded enough to hate it, not want to do it.
No, I don't think I could get jaded on
coming in. I'm always catching new shit online now, and I'm like, oh fuck, that dude's funny, that lady's funny, this show's funny.
That's exactly true. And like the thing about radio that makes you jaded is just the corporate structure of it that beats you down and makes you not feel any sort of value. That in comedy, it doesn't exist. You get the value out of what you do. So it's completely different. And that's what I was doing. I was doing comedy and radio, and the radio was suffering because I was out every night or on the road on the weekends and then coming back and just mailing it in essentially. Because I never, even when I was doing my best or hardest, I wasn't getting any rewards from that.
If you got offered a morning radio gig now, would you take it?
Fuck no. Unless it was like a crazy amount of money, which it would never be. You know what I mean? I don't even think they give out 6-figure salaries anymore.
I was going to say, not for terrestrial radio.
Not unless it's massively syndicated. I mean, or you're Nick Cannon or something and you're doing that shit. But yeah, I mean, like fucking Kevin and Bean just got fired out of I guarantee whatever they put on in that spot, it's going to be for as cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
And it'll be dog shit. And the guy will probably have 9 jobs. Probably also be like the music director, the fucking production director. You know what I mean? So, yeah, dude. I remember when I first came here too. Someone was like, "Why don't you try to get a radio job just to like bridge the gap or whatever?" And I was like, "They're not even gonna hire me. I would get a job as a production director, and I would make minimum wage probably to like run an entire cluster's worth of commercials. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like not worth the squeeze. Might as well go get a job at the fucking, do a civil service test or some shit.
It's a very telling decision because, as we all know, this fucking business, comedy, there's no stability here. There's it can be gone at any moment for any reason, all of it. And
look at the fucking virus, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. A pandemic hits the world, and there goes comedy. And that's not even something any of us were ever fucking even thrown into an equation of shit. So I'm thinking earthquakes ruin shit physically and literally before a virus shuts us all fucking. Oh, like the Comedy Store got crushed in the major earthquake we had. You know what I mean? Like that
a landslide.
That was more realistic to me than a pandemic.
Or some Saudis bought it.
Yeah, and they're gonna, that's a parking lot. Yeah. It's a club.
Yeah, that was
way more realistic. And then boom, the thing you think that's never going to happen. So for you to take the leap out of radio into comedy is very telling about what
there was nowhere to go.
Like.
There was nowhere to go. I remember when I came out here and I got an office job I talked about on here that one time where I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember being kind of relieved, going like, hey, I can still get a job in an office? Holy shit. I thought that was my resume is fucking Nude with a Dude and fucking, you know what I mean?
Second place, too.
Yeah. Didn't even win that shit.
Didn't even win it.
I bet I could have won if I was really in the contest and it wasn't a wink and a nod. I could have got him out of there. I would have started, I would have used the other guy's tactic, started jerking off inside the sleeping bag. So how much money would it take for you to do Nude with a Dude?
For how long? How long do I have to be in there?
Well, you'd have to. The contest is how long. It's really contingent on how
long he's going to be in there.
Well, what are you going to do to get him out of there?
And is he allowed to do whatever he wants in that bag?
Both of you can do whatever you want.
That's going to be a 6-figure. That's going to be a 6-figure payday for Ryan Sickler.
Yeah,
so it ain't going to happen.
I mean, that's a knife fight. You know what I mean?
If anybody out there's got some money, wants to put up $250,000, I'll get in a sleeping bag with a dude naked, and I'll promise you it'll get out before I get out.
I made $350 a week.
A week before tax.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But hey, I was the one coming up with it. I was like, let's do Nude, So the onus is on me. And now we're here. We've graduated to Tit Cups. Dick Cage on the way.
Please, can we talk about the Dick Cage when it happens? I want to see it. I want to hear all about it.
You're going to get the whole fucking kit and caboodle.
I can't wait.
I mean, I don't know how it's going to... It's just going to be like me going like, ow, ow, ow. I don't know what the culmination... Say I do get an erection. It's going to just hurt. I'd imagine the constraints would keep my erection down.
I don't know. It's one of those like... You're telling your kids, don't do drugs, and they're going to go do drugs. And if I'm telling myself the whole time, don't get hard, I'm probably going to get hard.
But even with the cameras and the lights and Tom and Christina...
That may.
You know what I mean?
And it's also, Christina keeps it cold in there, too.
Yeah. No, yeah, no. Christina likes it warm, but we keep it cold. She has her little heater. But no, yeah. So I mean, I feel like I won't get an erection and it won't hurt, and it'll just be, it'll be like one I can breeze through.
Well, look, I know we got to get you out of here. You're going down to San Diego to do some shows. First show since the lockdown?
Pretty much. I did a show for Black Lives Matter benefit, and it was on Zoom, but there were people. It was at a facility, like at a actual venue, and there were people there, so that felt kind of like doing an open mic.
Like in the audience also, as well as Zoom?
Yeah, so there were like 10 people there, but so I have that set, but this is my first time doing a substantial amount of time
in front of a live audience, right? There's people in this.
Of course, yeah.
Was it 50 people or 50%?
I don't know. I don't know the parameters.
Confusing.
I know that they're limited capacity.
Yeah,
but it's free.
Well, I'm so glad you came on, dude. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, dude.
Yeah, of course. Plug all your social media.
Twitter is at @J_Potter. Instagram is at Josh_Potter. Subscribe to my Twitch. Watch me play fake sports. I'm gonna buy the fucking Sabres soon because I'm sick of what
you're gonna be a multi-team
I'm sick of what Terry Pagula's doing with the Sabres. I gotta save them. I don't know anything about hockey contracts, but you can watch me navigate the waters, and I guarantee I do better than fucking Terry Pagula. I'm already built a dynasty with the Bills, so subscribe, watch all the sports since we don't have them on regular TV. And then if you want shoulder hair porn, you can hit me up on Cameo, cameo.com/Josh_Potter.
Now, Tit Cups are exclusively to YMH, correct?
People have requested Tit Cups,
I thought
but
they might.
It's, you know what? It is so painful, and it is like those things, to take them all home and stuff, they're at the studio. It's such an undertaking. I've kept them off my platform.
And your tits.
Yeah, and my tits. But for, if you have a crazy offer, I might consider.
Let's talk about it right now, real quick. What's the offer?
I need a G.
$1,000, and what do they get for $1,000? If I'm giving you $1,000,
you'll get 5 minutes.
Right,
you'll get 5 minutes of Tit Cups.
They stay on.
I'll do my best. I'll put them on and off if I have to. But
For
honest to
5
God,
minutes.
these fucking things, dude.
It looks like
you cannot keep them. I mean, I was trying to do that bit where I don't know if you saw, I did that video. All the actors in black and white. And Aaron Paul's I take responsibility.
Yeah, I take responsibility.
It was like, wow, thanks, Pinkman. But I fucking did that video where I put them on for that, just to say my lines. I couldn't even keep them on to say the lines.
Because it's that painful.
That painful. I'd have to take breaks between the lines. Because they're so, I don't know if I had them.
Well, y'all heard
really
a grand for Josh Potter to do Tit Cups for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I'll do Nude with the Dude for free again.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me,
appreciate
dude.
it. As always, Ryan Sickler on all social media, ryansickler.com. We'll talk to y'all next week.